What's up, Taiwan? Good evening. I'm Erika Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan recorded over 66,000 new cases of COVID-19 on Monday. The surge in infections is putting pressure on the healthcare system. Frontline workers like nurses say they are under enormous strain after a new policy increased their workload. John Van Trieste has the details.
A spike in COVID cases has put an end to the 5 patients per nurse policy that Taiwan's hospitals followed. Now, depending on the type of hospital, a nurse may have 9, 12, or even 15 COVID patients to care for. It's pushing nurses to their limits.
真的上班我们大家没有人在吃饭的，没有空吃饭，有时候甚至有些人是连水都完全没办法喝，就是只能出来上厕所。就是中央面一直讲说什么医疗那么没有崩溃啊，没有什么的，就是觉得荒谬，两个平行世界。
Healthcare workers say morale has dropped considerably since Taiwan's early successes with containing the pandemic.
专责病房的护理师跟我们说，在这波疫情爆发以来，从一开始以自己身为疫病的第一线为荣，到现在呢，对于各种漠视第一线的行政的措施，是感到非常的心灰意冷。政府看不到第一线的崩溃，只会要我们撑过去。
The government is giving nurses a per-patient subsidy as encouragement. But nurses say having less time to spend on each person creates a greater risk to patients' well-being. And experts predict the peak of infections is still 10 to 14 days away, with case numbers only gradually expected to fall off.
它到了高档区以后的盘旋可能会停留15到20天的一个时间，而在15到20天之后呢，那这个整个的确诊的人数才会缓慢的开始来下降。
Which means it's unlikely that Taiwan's nurses and healthcare workers will get any respite in the coming weeks. Damon Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The 75th Annual World Health Assembly kicked off this Sunday. A motion to have Taiwan officially invited to take part was voted down. China has blocked Taiwan from participating since 2016. That's despite support from over 70 countries for Taipei's inclusion. Bing Wang reports.
Taiwan is helping. Taiwan can help. Taiwan can help.
Taiwanese people rallied in the streets of Geneva, calling for the country's inclusion into the World Health Assembly, or the WHO, the governing body of the World Health Organization and highest forum for setting global health policy. Taiwan was excluded from the 75th World Health Assembly that began on Sunday. The country has been shut out from the annual meetings because of China's objections. In a video address, President Tsai said that with Taiwan's medical achievements, the country can be a major player in global health.
积极贡献国际医疗公卫的台湾，不应该被排除在 WHO 外。全球防疫体系的完整，不应该因为单一国家的政治干预造成破口。
More than 70 governments, legislative bodies, and parliamentary groups have backed Taiwan's inclusion. This includes the United States, Japan, and the European Union. Even this tram in Geneva shows support for Taiwan's efforts. But China still stands opposed to Taiwan's inclusion.
任何打台湾牌、搞以台制华的图谋，必将遭到国际社会绝大多数成员的坚决反对。
Before 2016, under a Kuomintang or KMT government, a party seen as friendlier towards China, Taiwan was able to participate as an observer under the name Chinese Taipei. After the Democratic Progressive Party, or the DPP, regained the presidency in 2016, tensions between Taiwan and China increased, and China blocked Taiwan's participation in the forum. But Taiwan maintains a presence. The country's deputy health minister led a delegation to Geneva to hold meetings with other countries in a non-WHA capacity. And with diplomatic allies continuing to speak in favor of its participation, Taiwan hopes it's only a matter of time before it's allowed into the global health body. Chris Ma and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
To find out more about Taiwan's bid to join the WHA, our reporter James Chater spoke to Simona Grano, director of the Taiwan Studies Project at the University of Zurich. He began by asking what Taiwan stands to gain from participating in the organization.
Well, first of all, the hope, of course, if Taiwan can participate, is that in participating as an observer, even if only as an observer, that Taiwan could sort of like gradually be included in the all-important network of WHO committees that provides sort of like the working framework for the fight against diseases worldwide, right? But it would also have, in my opinion, a symbolic importance because it would be one step in the direction of allowing Taiwanese to more fully participate in the international community.
So given Taiwan's continued struggle to access international health organizations, is it fair to say the government's pandemic-era campaign of, Taiwan can help has so far failed?
No, I wouldn't put it that way. Actually, I think that Taiwan has been able to sort of like use this unexpected momentum in having, kept the pandemic under control. And in this, of course, after years of diplomatic isolation, Taiwan and its main ally, the US, have launched a diplomatic offensive among their European and other Pacific allies for renewed participation of Taiwan in the WHO. And I would say the campaign did actually help Taiwan in using the international spotlight and positive momentum to maximize its international geopolitical standing and reduce its isolation.
The United States and Japan have released a joint statement reiterating the importance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. It comes after a meeting between U.S. President Joe Biden and Japan Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. During a press conference following the meeting, Biden commented that Washington would intervene militarily to defend Taiwan. The White House walked those comments back shortly after. James Chater reports.
After US President Joe Biden appeared to upend decades of Taiwan policy, stating that Washington would defend Taiwan, a clarification from the White House. The White House says there is no change in US policy on Taiwan, and that Washington remains committed to its One China policy. The explanation came after Biden made these comments during a trip to Tokyo.
You didn't want to get involved in the Ukraine conflict militarily for obvious reasons. Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are?
That's the commitment we made.
Biden's remarks quickly drew attention as they appeared to change the long-standing US policy of strategic ambiguity. Strategic ambiguity means the US does not state clearly whether it would come to Taiwan's defense if China attacked. Beijing claims Taiwan as part of its territory despite it never being ruled by the Chinese Communist Party. It's not the first time the White House has been forced to clarify the Biden administration's Taiwan policy. Last year, Biden made nearly identical comments at a CNN town hall event. Then, and now, Beijing denounced Biden's remarks.
中方对美方的言论表示强烈不满和坚决反对。台湾是中国领土不可分割的一部分，台湾问题纯属中国内政，不容任何外部势力干涉。在涉及中国主权和领土完整等核心利益问题上，中方没有任何妥协退让余地。
The goal of Biden's first trip to Asia as president was to shore up support from regional allies. But sparking controversy over Washington's stance on Taiwan is a reminder that the shadow of tensions with China is difficult to evade. James Rayner and James Chater for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is not on the member list of the United States' new Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan confirmed that Taiwan will not be included in the agreement that lets the U.S. work more closely with Asian economies. The initiative was launched by U.S. President Joe Biden during his visit to Japan earlier on Monday. The framework focuses on infrastructure, supply chain resilience, clean energy, and creating a digital trade agreement. It's being viewed as an attempt to counter China's economic influence in the region. Possible members include Japan, South Korea, and Australia. Taiwan badminton star Tzu-ying has won the Thailand Open, defeating China's Chen Yufei in a rematch from the Olympics. The women's singles final saw Dai claim victory over Chen, who had defeated her to win gold in Tokyo. This time, the world number 2 took the first set before losing to the second to Chen, and then finally clinching the win in the deciding set. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today, we leave you with images of famous film director Tim Burton's exhibition, The Somber Beauty of Monsters, in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.